Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Better Than Yesterday podcast. I'm your host, Jenna Cosentino, and today's episode is for anyone who's feeling a little off, a little low, a little unmotivated, and especially now that we are kind of in the peak cold months. And we are talking about the winter uglies. And I know you all have probably heard of the winter uglies. It's been like a trend that people talk about for the past few years. And it's just like you're pale, you are just coming off the holidays, maybe you have some LBs that you have stacked on from Christmas, New Year's, whatever, and you're not in your routines and you just feel off. And we call that your winter uglies. It's a weird mix of the low energy, low mood, feeling unproductive, disconnected, and just not like yourself. And before we go any further, I just want to say, there obviously is nothing wrong with you. We all have our ups and our downs, and this is kind of dramatic, but welcome, we're dramatic here. So this episode is going to help you with some tips to get out of the winter uglies and how to beat the winter uglies and get back to your best self, you know? So it's no surprise that the winter is just not a time where people are just their best self. The days are shorter. The sun does not come out all that often, especially unless you live in the South. The sun comes out at least once a day, but living up north, there really is no sunshine. It's cold sometimes down here in Wilmington. Like last week, it was really nice out, but now this week it's going to be cold again, like in the 30s. And I know up north, again, it's just still freezing. So all of that kind of impacts your energy and your mood, and sometimes you may not notice it as much, but it truly does. So if you've been feeling slower, less motivated, or just kind of blah, it doesn't mean that you're lazy or falling off. It's just kind of you're getting over the high of Christmas and the holidays, Thanksgiving, being around a bunch of people, and you're kind of just like quickly shaken back into reality, and your routines are messed up, your workout routines are messed up, your diet may not have been on point, you might be drinking too much, and it's okay. It's okay to have those moments, and it's okay to enjoy yourself during that time. But I know for me, I feel dull. I feel dull, and I know it's because of all of those factors. I haven't been on a strict routine. I haven't been on my strict workout routine. I've been eating sweets. I've been drinking a little too much, and it really just all just adds up, and you create your own winter ugly. You're pale. Being pale is one of the things that is like a key trigger, and it's like, I just want to be tan again. And I used to go to the tanning bed, and obviously we're not doing that anymore because it's so bad for you, but maybe I just need to self-tan more often. But yeah, being tan really helps. So now let's dive into some tips to help make you feel your best. And we are kicking off 2026, and there's no better way to kick off 2026 with beating the winter uglies. And it's really from January to March are like the peak winter ugly months, and we are not going to enter February with this mindset. We are going to beat the winter uglies in January so we can thrive the rest of the winter and get ourselves right for spring and summer. So tip number 1 is stick to a routine that makes you feel your best. When everything feels off, the routine brings stability, and it doesn't need to be this strict color-coded schedule routine. And I know we discuss routines on this podcast, and that's one thing I stress is that your routine needs to help your goals and help your life in the way that you want it to look, and it's not going to look like everybody else's. So really building your routine and sticking to a routine that makes you feel your best and it makes you feel like you, that's going to be key. It's going to be the few anchors in your day that just make you feel aligned and on top of the world. that looks like your morning routine, your night routine. What kind of movement are you doing during the day? When your motivation is low, how are you going to kick that back into gear and bring that discipline back up to get you back aligned? And consistency is the key for routines, and that matters more than how intense you are. Your routines may not be perfect every single day, but just being consistent with it and building that habit is what's going to make them stick and what's going to make you feel so much better. Your routine is grounding, especially in the winter months. They are crucial to build that foundation for yourself. Next is journaling. Journaling to get out of your head. You may be stressed out about things, or you have so many things that you want to accomplish this year and you feel very overwhelmed, and journaling really just gets rid of that mental clutter. And that's one thing the winter uglies have, is just the kind of overthinking mental clutter that sometimes you don't know how to express. Maybe like you like to go outside for a walk and that helps clear your head, but if it's freezing cold, I understand why you don't want to go outside for a walk, So if everything feels heavy or overwhelming, journaling can help clear your space, and it doesn't need to be deep or like 5 pages long. It can be a few prompts on the page. It can be a 1-2 page little mind dump of just everything that is clouding your mind. That's one thing that I like to do every morning, is sit down and do my journaling, and I do like 2 to 3 pages, just depending on what I'm thinking about, and just getting all of your thoughts out of your head that maybe you've thought about all night, or things that have just been weighing heavy on you, and just getting it out on paper. You're releasing it and you're clearing your mind, and it makes you feel so much better. A few little prompts that I think would be very helpful if you're just like getting into journaling or you don't know where to start. And just kind of self-reflect, like, how am I feeling today? What do I need to do more of right now? What's been draining me? What's throwing me off track? What can I do to make me feel better? And just think of the journaling as like a mental reset. You're not fixing your problems. You're not fixing anything. You're just getting it out on paper. You're listening to your thoughts and your feelings, and you're just releasing it to the universe, so you can kind of replace those negative thoughts or those self-doubt thoughts with positive ones. And once you write them out, you're kind of like, I sound ridiculous right now. Like, why am I thinking these thoughts? You know what I mean? So really just writing it out and clearing your mind is going to be so, so, so helpful. You have no idea. Dedicate one day a week completely to you, and just pick one day out of the week. This could be a weekday, it could be a weekend, and just take yourself on a solo date. Do something that you enjoy. Go to the mall, go get a coffee, go work in a coffee shop. Like, do something that brings you joy and that you love to do. You don't have to worry about what your friends want to do, what your boyfriend wants to do, whatever. It's just what brings you joy. And that could be also pottery painting. Like, I love pottery painting, and in Raleigh there was a pottery painting studio, whatever, that was just convenient, and I found one here in Wilmington. I haven't gone to it yet, but I really want to take myself on a solo date and just go paint pottery for a few hours. And it really just, it helps my creativity and just kind of lets me zone out for a bit. But again, it could be a long walk. It could be a solo coffee date, like I said. It could be reading, going to the beach and pulling out a book, or doing absolutely nothing and sitting. I don't recommend sitting and rotting on the couch all day. That, to me, it doesn't clear my head. It makes me more stressed out when I do that. But if that's your cup of tea and that makes you feel relaxed, then by all means do that. Take yourself on, go get like a facial, or go get your hair done, or go to Ulta and pick out some fun like self-care beauty items to like come home and do like a face mask and paint your nails, or again, go get your nails done. Like, there is such a long list of things that you can do solo, and just helps pick your mood up a little more, and just helps you make and it just makes you feel better. Add in at least one self-care task every day just to kind of keep yourself at the forefront of you and putting yourself first before you put anybody else. And like that could be when you wake up in the morning while your coffee's brewing, like ice roll your face or get the little eye gels. I love doing the little eye gels in the morning. It really wakes you up and it makes you feel so good. Or at night, make yourself a cup of tea and sit on the couch and read a good book, or self-tan so you can wake up in the morning and feel so good. Like there's no better confidence boost than marinating in self-tan all night and then waking up and you're just like this golden bronzed goddess and you just feel so good. So find something that makes you feel good and something that you enjoy doing and something that will boost your mood a little bit. And self-care is something that you really need to prioritize and something that you really need to do for yourself, because it is truly the best way to kind of put yourself first in all day, in everyday activities, everyday life. Next is kind of going along with that, and that's staying busy with hobbies that you actually enjoy. Winter, you're not outside as much, or you are like there's not much to do in the winter. So having that extra idle time and that extra time where you're just kind of sitting there pondering your thoughts, it leads to a lot of overthinking. And the best way to deal with that is pick up a new hobby. You could be cooking, baking, going for a walk, going to a fun workout class, creative projects. Like I know needlepointing has been a big thing lately, and I really want to start needlepointing. I think that would be so relaxing. Painting pottery, like I said before. There's so many things. Doing a puzzle, coloring. Like there are so many different hobbies that you can do that kind of help that random time that you have throughout the day, or helps kind of zone you out and get you out of your head and put your focus on something else other than yourself. You know what I mean? Next is gonna be move your body for your mood, not punishment. And your movement anyways shouldn't feel like punishment. And I know we talked about this before. Your movement should bring you joy. It should make you feel supportive. It shouldn't be draining or feel like this burden. Yes, sometimes you don't want to go work out or you don't want to have movement, but there's a difference between being disciplined and just being lazy, or something that you truly don't enjoy. And that's why I stress that you need to find the movement that makes you feel your best, not what you see on the internet or not what your friends do. You really need to figure out what is going to make you happy and what gives you that good dopamine kick and spike after you complete that class or after you go work out. Like that's when you know that you've had that you're enjoying the workout. Like if you get out of a workout and you're like, what the fuck was that? Why did I just put myself through that? Then maybe that isn't the workout that you need to be doing. You should feel like you should be walking out of that gym, that class on a high. Like, damn, that was good. So really just find movement that you enjoy doing. And it doesn't need to be something so intense. It could be going for a walk. It could be stretching. It could be doing 10 minutes on the treadmill. Like it doesn't have to be anything like super intense. The goal isn't always about how much weight or how many calories can you burn, like how long can I go? It should just be about making you feel good, boosting your mood and energy, and just making you feel accomplished. And again, consistency will always beat the intensity, so just staying consistent with it is going to be huge. And next is romanticize the little things. Take your routines and kind of spice it up and do things that make you happy, and like just say like, oh, I get to wake up in the morning and drink my coffee and do ice roll my face and put some eye gels on and sit down and journal. Like that just sounds so nice and relaxing. And winter is the perfect time to slow down and add intention to your day and romanticize. Light a candle, take a long shower, wear a matching lounge set. Make warm, comforting nourishing meals. These small moments matter more than we realize, and they pull you out of kind of that autopilot mindset and remind you that life can still feel relaxing and soft and comforting and not so intense, even in the winter when you're off and you don't feel like you are taking care of yourself. Just kind of do those little things, romanticize the little things in your life, and I feel like you would definitely start seeing a little change, especially in your mood when you do stuff like that. Next is get outside. I know, even when you don't want to, get outside, especially if you live in an area where the sun doesn't shine as much. Once you see that sun peeking through, just get outside for 10-15 minutes and just like soak up that sunlight, because it is the most underrated mood booster ever. Like, it's just insane when you don't see the sun versus when you do see the sun, of how it makes you feel. And again, even if it's out for just an hour, try and soak up as much of it as you can. You may have to bundle up in a parka and like snow pants, but just doing it, I promise you, it will just make a world of a difference. And like, even this weekend, it was gloomy in the morning, and then we were out at like a friend's house for a party, and the sun came out, and it just felt so good to be outside, feel that sun beating down on you. It just felt so good, and just complete mood booster. And also, the fresh air is just key. Like, if you are someone who sits at a computer all day, taking like 10-15 minutes a few times during the day and like go for a walk around the building or go for a walk around the block, whatever that looks like, and just kind of get away from the computer for a bit and getting that fresh air and just kind of clearing your head a little bit is so key. And I feel like that's something that I definitely have to do, because at work, I just like mainly just sit in my office and crank out my work. Like, I bring my lunch, so I don't really leave to go get lunch or anything like that. So that's huge for me. Like, I really need to just start pushing myself and like taking a break and going outside. And it's okay to take a 10-15 minute break and do that. And if your employer has an issue with that, then they really need to reflect at their managing skills, because you take the smokers in your office and they probably take a 10-15 minute break, maybe even 30 minutes, like every hour, every 2 hours, to go smoke their hot cigarette. So don't be nervous about someone like getting mad at you for doing that, because you totally can do that. And if somebody tells you otherwise, then maybe you need to like find a new job, because that's ridiculous. Lastly is just protecting your energy and the things that you are consuming. Winter, you have that extra time, you're inside more, and it just leads to a lot of doom scrolling and or binging a lot of TV, and just really pay attention to what you're consuming. That is definitely social media, it's news, it's who you're surrounding yourself with. And if something just constantly drains you, it's okay to take a step back and recognize that and change your environment on how it's going to make you feel. If you get anxiety watching the news, don't watch the news anymore. I don't really watch the news anymore. Once in a while I do, and it just stresses me out. Like, I really, And then same with like, I can sit on TikTok for like an hour, and like, I just wasted an hour. What am I doing? That especially happens like after work. I, sit down, make my dinner, and I sit on the couch and like eat my food, and I'll watch like a YouTube vlog or something, and then I'll just sit on my phone, and I'm just wasting so much time. Like, there's so much that I want to do after work, but I like get into that TikTok scrolling, and that is so bad, and that's something that I really need to cut out. And same with like when you wake up in the morning, you should not be looking at your phone and scrolling on social media. That's the worst thing that you can do, because it just starts cluttering your mind with outside thoughts and stuff, and you don't really have that time to wake up and really just like get with your thoughts and understand like what is today gonna bring and like get you ready for the day. You're already drowning your mind with unnecessary shit that you see on the internet. So let this just be your reminder that the winter uglies do happen, and it's so okay to feel like you are in a funk and feel like that there's something off, and it's no doubt the winter uglies, and it's because you just haven't been disciplined. You're out of your routine. You've just been consumed with so much the past few months. And it's okay to recognize that and understand like what is happening and just not get so down on yourself and just start little by little doing things that bring you joy and doing things that boost your mood and makes you feel good. That's the most important thing. And I don't want you guys to take like this to be like a negative episode about your winter uglies, and it's kind of just a funny way to put it. And they do happen, and you just need to kind of joke about it. But the goal, you are in a winter funk, and it doesn't mean that you're going backwards. It doesn't mean that you've lost progress. It doesn't mean you need to fix everything. Winter is a slower season, and that is a fact, and that is allowed. And the goal isn't to hit that glow up like immediately. It's the beginning is just to feel like yourself again, because you want to feel like yourself before tackling all your 2026 goals. And taking this like month, 2 months to like get yourself back to like who you were before the holidays, and then start incorporating like those goals and little habits, new routines that you want to take on in the new year and change the way that your life looks. But getting back to yourself first is going to be key. And it's going to help just keep your mind clear and keep you at the forefront of everything. So tackling the winter uglies, it's just to make you feel like yourself again. So be gentle with yourself, support yourself, and trust that maybe you're going through a hard time right now, that the season will pass and you will get through this. We are all going to get through the winter uglies together. That's it for today's episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And again, I'm very grateful for everyone who listens to this. I was actually just looking at my stats last night, and I was reading it to my boyfriend and all the different countries where people are from who are listening to this podcast. It was kind of insane. And I am so grateful, and it's just so cool to be able to connect with people in other countries and across the world, basically. So thank you so much. And if you're following along on Instagram and TikTok, I am starting the Becoming Better series, and that's just kind of giving you guys a glimpse into my life and hopefully sharing tips about how to beat the winter uglies, So go follow me over on Instagram. It's at Better Than Yesterday with JC. And on TikTok, it's Better Than Yesterday JC. So I will see you all in next week's episode, and I hope you guys have a great week. And as always, become better than you were yesterday.